Hey guys, 3D Printed Life here. You may notice I'm speaking quite softly, and that would be because it's midnight right now and everybody in the house is sleeping, but I just finished this, and oh my god, it's so amazing! Okay, it's not that amazing, but what's amazing is that this is essentially the original design. Well, the first design I printed. I know the original single axis, or single screw design, but whatever. So, anyway, yeah, this is like the first design that I attempted to print, and it works. I mean, I had to modify a few small, like very small measurement-wise things, but other than that, everything printed out really nicely. So let me just quickly go over what this is. It's the bed. It's half of it, half of the drive. It has a solid rod and a threaded rod, and it's going to be mirrored on the other side, but I haven't gotten around to printing that yet, obviously, because I just did this now. I spent all day printing these parts. Had to reprint a few just because of small measurement errors, but yeah, so I'm sure you guys want to know how it is. It's amazing. Right now, that's obviously a problem, but that's just because I don't have one on the other side to stop it from swinging back and forth like that. As far as tipping along the axis, well, it does move up, but that's unrelated. Torquing it this way, like this, tiny if anything. I'd say maybe there's like 0.1 millimeter of movement in that direction, and that's just because the linear bearing isn't quite perfect and it isn't quite as tight as it really should be for this use. But it really doesn't matter because in this design it's slightly off center so that the weight is really resting on the nut and then onto the linear bearing. So as a result, the only way you'd ever get tipping is if you had a immensely heavy print going on one side, and if it was eventually heavy enough to tip. But even if it did, you wouldn't notice it in a print because it's such a tiny, tiny tip. It really is ridiculously rigid. I did not expect this to be this strong. So the design, let me just go over quick. I have a bottom bracket here which has a rod clamp, and then it's got two bearings and a pulley all attached to this threaded rod. I have a nice black threaded rod. You guys won't get it though because it was way too expensive from Misumi. So here I have a little compartment. I kind of like how I designed this. What's cool because this is all going to be covered by the bed pretty much, or at least disguised by the bed. Inside I got the linear bearing here, and I have a tall nut, just like that guy. Just essentially just a tall nut. And then on top I have one bearing, and I have another rod clamp, which one screw didn't go in all the way because I was lazy, and I don't care because it works. So in case you care, the rod is a 1.25 millimeter pitch, which means 1.25 millimeters of travel per rotation. And I have a 36 tooth GT2 pulley down here. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, all the pulleys that will be included with this printer are 100% aluminum and 100% American made, so none of those cheap Chinese ones with the awful tooth profiles. So good news for you guys. Tiny bit more expensive, but totally worth it. So yeah, as you can see, it moves really nicely and really, really, really precisely. And on top of that, the drive motor is going to have a 20-tooth pulley going down to 36, so really it's going to be about 0.75 millimeters of travel per stepper motor rotation, which is going to be awesome. I believe it's going to be slightly more than the 2-up currently. Maybe, actually it's got to be more than that. It's got to probably be about twice as accurate in the Z-height, which is going to be great for printing at high resolutions, very, very low layer heights. I personally hate it because it takes so long, but I don't know, maybe you guys like printing that high resolution. Yeah, so this is it. It's awesome. Currently I'm just waiting on the nuts because, as you can see, it's completely disassembled in order to scrounge up all the nuts I can so that I can do the Z-axis on both sides, and I can mount the motor mount, which I still have to design, which I am I don't know why I haven't done it yet, but I will do that soon, I promise. So I expect to be printing, maybe, I think, I do have to print one replacement piece, this bottom piece, because the rod didn't go in quite deep enough. I think these rods are actually longer than 290 millimeters, because I've had this problem before, but I will do some remeasurements, moving stuff around, just to see. I may not have to redesign anything. But anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, I will be printing, hopefully, the other half of this tomorrow and finishing that so I can slap that on here and you guys can see the actual bed, how rigid it really will be. I mean, I can tell in person right now how rigid it will be, but on video it might seem a little flimsy because of this guy, but trust me, don't worry about that. Don't worry. And then the next day, what's that, Monday? Yeah, Monday I hope to print out the motor mount and then the idler bearing, which is going to act as a tensioner. So I'm going to have like the motor on one side and the tensioner here, and you can move both the motor and the tensioner out and in order to adjust the tension on the belt, since it's a closed loop belt, and you need a hardware tensioner, not a belt tensioner that goes on the belt, because it's a loop and that wouldn't work. So yeah, hopefully by Monday night I can have a video showing this thing going up and down by the motor power. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, even though that would mean by Monday night the entire printer is done, I can't put it together until I get those nuts, which I don't think will be coming until maybe Thursday or Friday, the latest. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for a video, probably Monday night, I would say, for the completed Z-axis with both sides in the motor. I won't do a video tomorrow finishing both sides, because the next step, editing the motor, is kind of small, but it's still a big step. So okay, I'm kind of tired and I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go to sleep now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you are getting even more and more excited as the day becomes closer and closer to where this is a completed printer. I know I'm getting ridiculously excited, and I'm sure many of you are too, especially those of you waiting to buy one or build one yourself. So thank you all for watching. I'll catch you later.